You've felt it before. The moment someone walks into a room and everything subtly shifts. No flashy words, no forced confidence. Yet people lean in, listen closer, feel seen. That pull isn't magic. It's psychological gravity, and almost no one understands how it works. Most people think attraction is about looks, status, or saying the right thing. That's the surface story. The real mechanism operates underneath awareness, where safety, identity, and emotional permission collide. Human beings are wired to move toward what feels emotionally regulating, not impressive, not dominant, regulating. When someone's nervous system feels calmer around you, attraction begins long before desire does. This is why some people can say very little and still leave a lasting imprint. They are not chasing interest, they are creating psychological permission. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People are not drawn to who you are, they are drawn to who they become around you, how they feel in their own body when they're near you, whether their guard softens or tightens, whether they feel evaluated or accepted. Most conversations fail not because of boring words, but because they trigger self-consciousness. The mind starts monitoring itself. Am I saying the right thing? Do I look stupid? Am I being judged? Attraction collapses the moment self-monitoring activates. The most powerful communicators don't stimulate excitement first. They create relief. Relief from performing, relief from proving, relief from being on. When someone feels emotionally unobserved but deeply noticed, they associate that feeling with you. And the brain, desperate to feel that again, labels it attraction. This is where those 6 words matter. Not because they are clever, not because they are seductive, but because they interrupt internal tension. They shift attention away from the self and back into emotional presence. They signal something rare in modern interaction. You don't need to impress me to be safe here. Think about how often people speak just to manage perception. Dating profiles, first dates, even long-term relationships slowly turn into performances. Over time, partners stop feeling like places of rest and start feeling like stages. When that happens, desire doesn't die from boredom. It dies from exhaustion. People don't leave because they stopped caring. They leave because they no longer feel emotionally exhaled. The 6 words you'll hear later work because they do the opposite of what most people try to do. They don't escalate, they don't flatter, they don't chase, they stabilize. And psychological safety is not passive, it's magnetic. The human nervous system is always scanning for threat or permission. When it senses permission, defense is lower. When defense is lower, curiosity rises. When curiosity rises, connection forms. This is why trying harder often repels people. Effort can feel like pressure. Pressure activates resistance. And resistance kills attraction quietly, politely, without drama. The people who seem effortlessly magnetic are not pushing energy outward. They're holding space inward. They're grounded, present, unrushed. And their words, few as they may be, land because they come from that state. Before you learn what to say, you need to understand what you're really offering. You're not offering entertainment. You're not offering validation. You're offering an emotional environment. And once you understand that, attraction stops being something you chase and starts being something you allow. You're trying harder than ever, and that's exactly why they're pulling away. Say these 6 words once, and watch how attraction changes when pressure disappears. Most people misunderstand attraction because they confuse intensity with intimacy. They think sparks mean connection, that tension means chemistry, that emotional highs mean something real is forming. But intensity burns fast and leaves confusion behind. Intimacy, real intimacy, moves quietly. It feels steady, grounded, almost ordinary at first, and that's why people miss it. They're trained to look for fireworks, not nervous system alignment. Here's what's rarely said out loud. The human brain is exhausted. Constant stimulation, constant comparison, constant emotional noise. When someone encounters a person who doesn't add to that noise, the contrast is striking, not exciting in a loud way, relieving in a deep way. And relief is addictive. We return to what calms us because calm restores control. Control restores identity. Identity restores desire. Those 6 words work because they do something most communication fails to do. They remove pressure without removing presence. They don't demand a reaction. They don't corner the other person into responding a certain way. They don't ask for approval disguised as interest. Instead, they signal emotional independence. And emotional independence is attractive because it tells the other person, I'm here by choice, not need. Think about how often people speak to get something: reassurance, attention, validation, certainty. Even compliments can feel like hooks when they carry expectation. The listener senses it immediately, even if they can't articulate it. The body reacts before the mind understands. Shoulders tense, breathing changes, walls come up. Attraction fades without a single obvious mistake being made. The 6 words you'll learn don't try to control the outcome. That's their power. They allow the other person to remain fully themselves without feeling managed or evaluated. And when someone feels unmanaged, they feel respected. Respect is the quiet foundation of desire that lasts. Without it, attraction turns into anxiety. With it, attraction deepens into trust. This is especially important in modern dating dynamics. Men are often taught to pursue harder. Women are often taught to signal indirectly. Both strategies create confusion because neither prioritizes emotional clarity. What people actually crave is not pursuit or mystery, but resonance. The sense that someone sees them without trying to edit them. That feeling is rare, and rarity creates value. Notice how different this is from manipulation. Manipulation creates attraction through imbalance. This creates attraction through alignment. Manipulation heightens insecurity. This reduces it. Manipulation keeps people guessing. This makes people feel settled. And settled does not mean bored. Settled means safe enough to explore, to open, to want. When you speak from a grounded place, your words slow the interaction down. Time feels less urgent. Silence stops being awkward. Presence replaces performance. And something subtle happens. The other person begins to lean forward emotionally, not because you pulled them, but because you stopped pushing. This is why saying less, but meaning it more, matters. Every word carries the state behind it. If the state is anxious, the words feel heavy. If the state is calm, the words feel clean. The 6 words are simple, but simplicity only works when it's backed by inner steadiness. Otherwise, they sound empty. Attraction isn't created by what you add. It's created by what you remove. Pressure, expectation, noise. When those disappear, what remains feels rare, and people always move toward what feels rare. There's a moment in every interaction where attraction either deepens or quietly collapses. It's rarely dramatic, no argument, no rejection, just a subtle internal decision made by the other person's nervous system. Do I feel more myself here or less? Most people never realize that this decision happens beneath language. Long before logic, the body decides. This is why people can't explain why they like someone. They say things like, I don't know, I just feel good around them. That feeling is the signal. Attraction is not a choice, it's a response. And responses are shaped by emotional environments, not clever techniques. When someone feels they must impress you, attraction weakens. When they feel free to be unpolished, attraction strengthens. Freedom is seductive, not sexual freedom, psychological freedom. The freedom to pause, to think, to not be on. In a world that constantly demands performance, the person who removes that demand becomes unforgettable. Most dating advice focuses on how to stand out, but standing out often creates distance. What actually bonds people is feeling understood without explanation, feeling accepted without earning it, feeling interesting without performing. These experiences register as safety, and safety allows desire to surface naturally instead of defensively. There's also a deeper layer people avoid talking about. Many individuals carry quiet shame about their past, their doubts, their inconsistencies. They hide it well, but it's always there. When they sense someone who won't weaponize vulnerability, something inside them relaxes. They don't consciously think, this person is safe. They just feel drawn. This is where power enters the conversation. Not power over someone, but power within yourself. When you don't need to rush intimacy, you communicate abundance. When you don't push for reassurance, you communicate stability. When you don't chase clarity, you communicate trust in yourself. These signals are read instantly, especially by people who've experienced emotional pressure before. Men often lose attraction by over-explaining themselves. Women often lose attraction by over-accommodating. Both behaviors come from fear of disconnection. Ironically, they create exactly what they're trying to avoid. The more you try to secure interest, the more you reveal insecurity. And insecurity doesn't repel because it's unattractive. It repels because it creates emotional work for the other person. The 6 words cut through all of this. They require no explanation. They don't ask for anything. They don't promise anything. They simply acknowledge the other person's emotional reality without trying to shape it. That's rare, and rarity creates focus. When someone feels emotionally focused on, not analyzed, not pursued, not evaluated, they feel important without feeling trapped. That balance is delicate, and very few people can hold it. That's why attraction often feels accidental. It happens when defenses are down, not when strategies are up. You don't need to become someone else to be attractive. You need to stop interfering with the moment. Presence does more than performance ever could. Stillness communicates more than words ever will. And when the right words come from that stillness, they land with disproportionate force. The next part is where everything becomes clear, not because the words are magical, but because you'll finally understand why they work and how to say them without chasing, forcing, or pretending. Here are the 6 words. You don't have to impress me. That's it. No flourish, no clever framing, no hidden manipulation. And that's exactly why they work. These words don't flatter. They don't escalate. They don't demand intimacy. They quietly remove pressure. When spoken calmly, without expectation, they send a signal most people rarely receive. You are already enough in this moment. The nervous system hears relief. The mind hears permission. And attraction begins to reorganize itself around that feeling. Notice what these words don't say. They don't say, I like you. They don't say, I want you. They don't say, I approve of you. Approval creates hierarchy. Desire can create pressure. Permission creates space. And space is where curiosity grows. When someone feels free from evaluation, they start showing you who they actually are. That authenticity is what people fall for, even when they don't realize it. Timing matters. These words are not a pickup line. They're not something you drop for effect. They work best when there's already a moment of tension, awkwardness, self-consciousness, overthinking. When you sense the other person trying to perform, trying to say the right thing, trying to manage how they're seen. That's when these words feel like oxygen. Tone matters more than wording. Say them slowly, casually, as a statement, not a strategy. If you say them hoping for a reaction, you undo their power. The message underneath must be true. I'm comfortable here whether this goes somewhere or not. That emotional independence is what people respond to. This works in early dating, long-term relationships, friendships, even difficult conversations. Partners often drift apart not because love disappears, but because they stop feeling emotionally safe to be imperfect. Over time, everyone starts performing again. These 6 words reopen the door to ease. For men, this removes the pressure to prove worth. For women, it removes the pressure to maintain appeal. For everyone, it interrupts the invisible game both sides are tired of playing. And when the game stops, connection starts. Don't overuse it. Power fades when repetition replaces sincerity. One calm moment of relief is worth more than 10 attempts to be interesting. Remember, attraction isn't built by impressing someone. It's built by letting them rest. If you want to test this, don't look for instant results. Look for shifts, longer pauses, softer eye contact, slower speech. People opening up without being asked. Those are signs the words landed where they matter. Before you go, ask yourself this honestly. When was the last time you felt you didn't have to impress someone to be valued? Tell me in the comments what that moment looked like, or if you've never had it. If this changed how you see attraction, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who's tired of performing and ready for something real.